stay as you walk and you flung your way like a cool fresh breath of air in the middle of a room.
Aloha, everybody. Welcome to the Aloha Friday Show with the Sandwich Island Social Network, a 501c3 nonprofit organization serving Pacific Islanders away from their island home. And you can find out more about the Sandwich Island Social Network, lower right-hand side of your screen, sandislands.org, where all that information is. And if you'd like to be part of our ohana and become a sustaining member of the Sandwich Island Social Network, go to sandislands.org to find out more about that. There you go. Big mahalo to Mr. Charles Ricardo of Big Island, providing our music today. Charles Ricardo was one of the original members of Summer. I don't know if you remember the group Summer. They came out about the same time that Kalapana came out. Charles still does great music with the group Kohala, and they are an award-winning group. So mahalo, Brother Charles, for the music. Here we go on the Aloha Friday Show with the Sandwich Island Social Network.
And all the rules in the middle of the room. In the middle of a noisy room. In the middle of
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us. We have some folks that are already on board. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys are right on. You guys are on time. We love it. We love it because Hawaiians are always on time, no matter what they say. We're always on time on the Sandwich Island Social Network. And we already have some folks joining us right now. Thyra is joining us. Hey, Thyra. Good to have you back, my dear. Kay Bennett is in the house from the West Wing. Aloha. And we will get to you guys. Anybody else on board, please jump on in. Let us know. Say, how's it doing? Drive by Shaka as well. Alrighty. We are so happy to have a gentleman here that I've known this name for so many years, living back on the Aina. The name was very familiar to me, and when production coordinator Nate Jones said, "Hey, I get this guy on. What do you think?" I said, "Oh my goodness, I'm looking forward to it." Please welcome everybody to the Sandwich Island Social Network Aloha Friday Show, Mr. Scott Shirai. What's up, Scott? Welcome. Hey, you know what? We gotta when anybody joins us over here. We have to do this, you know. Yeah, we have a virtual studio audience. And Scott, I gotta also tell you, on the beach over here where I'm at, we also blow the Portuguese conch shell to welcome, because you know this when we get VIP guests like you, Scott, we blow the Portuguese the menehunis on the beach. So here we go. There you go. And get another one. He like blow the Portuguese conch shell. Hold on. There we go. Now you're officially welcome to the Aloha Friday Show. Welcome, Scott. What's going on?
Oh, aloha. Thank you for having me. It's nice.
Good. Thank you so much for being here. You are synonymous in my mind with TV and radio broadcasting back in the Aina in the 70s, and the name would pop up often with a number of other folks that we'll be talking about today. So what a treat for you to be with us, and we're going to talk story, man, and share stories about the islands and you coming out of Iolani and all that good stuff. But before we do that, you know, we get our ohana jumping in. They all want to say aloha. There's Kay Bennett from the West Wing of the Holly over here, and she's saying, "What's up, aloha kako?" We have our good friend Thyra Abraham. Aloha, Thyra. Thyra, good to have you back. Good to have you on board, Thyra. Who else we got coming in here? Ooh, Marty Burns. Aloha Friday, everybody. We got folks watching on Facebook. There's C Honda. C Honda is part of the C Honda is part of the Andy Bumatai's Daily Pigeon live show, and she
Mm.
comes on board and helps us out too. So welcome, C. Thanks for joining us. Oh, here's a Waianae boy living right here in Southern California. Charles, what's up? Kupahu, right? Absolutely delicious to have you on board, brother. And yeah, they're all kind of talking to each other because this is the gang that comes and hangs out with us on Fridays and shows their aloha. And so you guys jump in anytime, man. You got any questions for brother Scott over here? Um, so Scott, we're going. Let's take a little trip back to the islands, and there's some classic places that we used to go eat. And Garen's, not very often. Our family wasn't that well off. It was a big deal for us to go out eat. But when we did go out eat, and for your family too, where did you guys go? Where did you go to enjoy?
Wow. Well, for Hawaiian food, couldn't beat Helena's in
Ah,
Kalihi. That was so, you know. Japanese food, Sekia, Wisteria. That was absolutely terrific, and
Sakia was
Torita's too.
Sakia was across from Kamiki High School, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Ooh.
yeah. And now they're all memories now. So
Yeah, I think Sikia is still there, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not that sure. I haven't
hmm,
been past there, but yeah. But a lot of those good places are gone. Even the kind we're talking about, Wisteria, yeah, Wisteria. Oh,
yeah,
their tempura shrimp.
hmm,
The batter was so light. You know how sometimes you go for tempura and then it's all soggy and they put too much the kind.
yeah.
Wisteria had that airy and light and crunchy, Uh, oh no, I stay drooling already for shrimp tempura.
I hear you. Here in Ohio, where we're living now, I got to import frozen lau lau and Kahlua pig.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I know. By the time it gets to you, it's like $50 per lau lau. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
The shipping is more than the food.
yeah. Just like we went to Big Island, and I love those Big Island cookies, right? The Big Island cookies, the shortbread cookies, the one that's dipped
Yeah,
in chocolate. And you ordered online. It's the same thing. The shipping is more expensive than the cookies itself. It's good. Oh my goodness. Ah,
yeah.
shoots.
Well, the only saving grace is if the shipping gets any higher, it'd be cheaper to fly there and
Yeah.
eat Farida than to air freight it in.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's see. We got the gang. Oh, they're talking among themselves. They're saying hello. Oh, C is reminding me that Charles is part of Andy Bumatai's Hammerjang gang. Yes, he also is. But hey, we claim him for our gang too. See, you know, we don't mind sharing. The. uh, but yeah. Oh, you know what? It was also another place where we used to go was Flamingo Chuck Wagon.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it was all you can eat, and my dad just loved the prime rib, and
Yeah.
he would always tell the Filipino guy, no make them thin, but I like make them thick, man. I like them thick, okay? So oh yes, sir. Cut off this peach.
Yeah. Yeah. That and Columbia Inn.
Yeah,
The, the Kanashiros are really great folks.
yeah. Leaky Leaky Drive-In was another place, right? We go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great Simon. Oh goodness.
Yeah.
And they open late because we come out of the clubs in Waikiki. We get out of Waikiki for go Simon late at night before we go home. That was the spot too, yeah, as well.
Oh,
My goodness. Um, Columbia Inn. Did you used to go to Columbia Inn too?
oh yeah. Because it's right next to the newspaper building,
Yes.
and it was. And I love Gene Kanashiro, and
Kanashiro.
the Kanashiros are really really good. So, and the food was so ono too.
I used to go for a meatloaf. I don't know what they put into that meatloaf, but it was addictive. It was so good. I would just dream about about their meatloaf. And later on, I
Yeah.
learned that they blended in pork, like pork hash or like a pork ground pork into the hamburger to make it juicier. And
Mhm.
that was their secret, where they added ground pork into their meatloaf, and then of course
Yeah.
their I tell you, now I want shrimp tempura and meatloaf fish, Scott. Think we gotta.
Oh,
I think we
you
gotta
got my
go.
stomach rumbling now.
Oh, but you
Well, what I
worked.
miss also is the pokey, you know, um, yeah, opihi, all that kind of stuff. Can't get
Yeah,
it here.
yeah, and no good if you try freeze that stuff. You gotta eat them when it's fresh,
Yeah,
when it's raw, right?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure. So you worked in a news building. Did you work in a news building there?
Oh
No, I
no,
think.
no, no, no. I was at Channel Two, but I had friends that were reporters at the Star Bulletin and the Advertiser,
Hmm.
UPI, AP. You know, they were all stationed there. And KGU Radio was there where I worked also. So
So how did you start in well you were in newspaper first before radio. How did that happen with
actually, no, I was in radio.
you in radio?
Uh,
Okay.
mhm. I was doing the news for Tom Moffat in the afternoon, and
K boy.
yeah, nice guy. And it's interesting because they had the FM in the same building by the Alawai Canal,
Hmm.
and you could smell the pot going through the air conditioning system. This was in the '70s, early '70s, and
Yeah.
oh man, I tell you. But Tom was a really nice guy, and then I got a call from Channel 2 and Channel 4 asking if I had considered television. And this was right after Watergate. So I interviewed at both stations and got the job at Channel 2.
Hmm. Hmm. Um, and who were the folks that you were working with that were on the air at that time, right around that?
Well, Bob Bassel was a news director at the time. Funny,
Ah,
funny guy. And
Bob
he told
Basso.
me, when he interviewed me, I said, I've not been a reporter before. That's him. And he's living near you now. And I said, I've done radio interviews, but I've not been out in the field interviewing people and the like. He said, well, we can train you to do that. But he said, because of Watergate, investigative reporting is real critical. And because you're local, you must have some contacts, right? I said, yeah, kind of. I knew a lot of people on both sides of the street. So he hired me, and I started doing some investigative reports, which got me in some pilikia as well. But
Hmm.
it was fun. It was fun.
So how when you were doing investigative reporting, how did the stories come to you? I mean, whether did you what, how do those tips come in? Did they call you, or you just kind of hung out and uh,
Well,
s-
one of my sources was the head of the biggest bookmaking organization in
oh,
Hawaii.
okay.
Another one was an undercover cop. Another
Oh.
was with the FBI. So I got leads from all over, and uh, I would meet with them at lunchtime with my cameraman, and who was just sitting there. He wasn't shooting anything. Those days, when we started off, we were shooting film,
Hmm.
and got a lot of information and everything else. So that's how the stories developed.
Hmm. How did you protect your sources now? You didn't want to reveal who was providing you with that information. What happened when you were asked to verify your sources for your stories?
Oh my! I got subpoenaed to court twice when I was at Channel 2
Hmm.
in order to identify the sources, and I refused. And the judge said, there's no minimum or maximum term. I can put you in the can for as long as I want and fine you
Wow.
as much as I want. And I said, I'm sorry, I can't jeopardize their lives or their safety or their career because some were in law enforcement. I said, I will tell you in camera, that is, in his chambers, in private, off the record, who they are, but not publicly. I will not identify them. And fortunately, those two cases were settled out of court before I had to face prison. The third time was after I got fired at Channel 2 when Fox took over from NBC
Hmm.
and said, "We don't want this guy because he's been in court too much." So I got subpoenaed again. And I went back to the station and I said, "Hey, you owe me legal representation," because I was working at the time. And they said, "No, you're on your own." So a lot of
Wow.
reporter friends and what have you raised money for an attorney. And I went to court. This time, there were only two people sitting in the courtroom when I showed up. One was Sister Maureen Kelleher, the CEO of St. Francis Hospital,
Hmm.
and Marilyn Bornhorst, who was the chairperson for the city council at the time. And I went up to them and I said, "You guys have much more important things to do. You shouldn't be here." And Sister Kelleher looked up at the sky. She says, "Well, I want him to know that we're here to support you." And that was
Wow.
really tough.
Wow.
And Marilyn said, "No, this is important as well, too." I was really touched. They were the only two people in the gallery. Fortunately, the case got settled as I stood in front of the judge as he was about to send me off to prison. Fortunately, Francis Kealo, who was the police chief at the time,
Hmm.
had already told me that if you got to go to jail, we'll offer you a private cell here at the police cell block because we know if you get put in the general population,
Oh.
your coach will be not do very well because too many people there know who you are and what you did on
Oh my.
organized crime. So, um, but like I said, the case got settled as I was standing in front of the judge when he was about to order me to either reveal or go to the can. So
Wow.
I got spared.
So Chief Francis Kiala had a nice little cushy little place, a futon, and a little hot plate where you could spend your time in a comfortable little cell. Then that was good. Then
Yeah, that helped. And
private.
having several to-go menus, take out, delivery menus, even though,
So Mr. Shirai, you're a troublemaker, man. The news people didn't. Looking at you, you look calm and collected, but underneath that is a rebel. I tell you, just a troublemaker, sir.
I've been accused of worse.
Um, but the stories that you can tell, and I know we talked earlier. There's some stories that you prefer not to tell, and names that we prefer not to mention, which is fine. But our listeners love stories. I think we were talking about earlier that across the street from the Star Bulletin building, right there on the corner. Across the street was this restaurant called the Gold Coin. What do you remember about the Gold Coin?
It was a great place to have Chinese food. Richard Wong was the owner of that. George Jarrett Helm, the founder, one of the founders of the Protect Kaho'olawe Ohana, also was a wonderful singer and had to me, the greatest falsetto voice I've ever heard. And he was entertaining there solo, like in the picture here with the guitar and the like. And even though he disappeared on a trip to Kaho'olawe with two other brothers, I'm still in touch with his family and miss the guy terribly.
He undoubtedly had this, I agree, an amazing falsetto. Very much active in the Hawaii sovereignty movement, as you know. And for our friends who may not be familiar with the name George Helm, definitely encourage you to um, go through Google or whatever search engine you use. Even on YouTube, you can put in George Helm and to listen to his music. It still is there. And there is a documentary that was created by Kaliko Mai'i and the production company there called Hawaiian Soul. It's the story of George Helm. I think it runs less than about a half hour, but it is beautiful. Raiatea Helm, part of George's Ohana, and a lot of folks from Molokai are in that short film. So for our folks out there, the name George Helm, we'd love to keep the name George Helm um, in the mind's eye, that he's not forgotten for the work that his music and for the work he did in support of the community, the Hawaiian community. Yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah, and George graduated from St. Louis High School,
Hmm.
and I'm told that a statue, not a statue, a bust of him has been made and will be placed somewhere in the school, probably sometime this year, in fact,
Nice,
in his memory and in his honor for all the work that he did for the Hawaiian community.
nice. Um, we had Glenn Medeiros, who is the principal of St. Louis High School, on the Aloha Friday show not too long ago. What a great conversation we had with Glenn, talking about his music too, because at a very young age, he had musical hits, and his journey going to Europe and bringing his music, and then coming back home and being mentored by people like Loyal Garner and Melvin Lead and people like that. So, um, and he is now a president of St. Louis High School. It's really, really awesome. Yeah, yeah. Um, so, people like you said, Bob Basso, um, and I know what I was asking you. Talking about investigative reporting. Um, if I share this picture, what what kind of memories do you have on this gentleman? This is Mr. Matt Levi.
My memory is that he was a lot slimmer before. When we used to work out at the police dojo in Pawa. But no, Matt also did a lot of investigative stories as well, and also did a book, um, and a great reporter at KGMB.
Yeah, I remember him coming on, and you know, he- he'd be dropping some bombshells about stuff that was going on, and whether it be somebody dumping litter someplace, and whether it be junking cars in the street, or a company that wasn't treating customers well, whatever he would just go for it, and I often wondered, wow, I wonder if anybody followed him home at night because he yeah, he would go for
It
it. So,
No, it can be scary. I had one guy, I'll call him Fat George, which is what he was called on the street, come to Channel Two and ask for the receptionist to see me, and I could tell from the reception area of the camera who it was. So I asked one of the cameramen to go outside and start shooting. So I met with him outside, and basically he showed me his waistband. He had a gun in there, and he
mm.
warned me about doing certain things. And I thought I was going to get it at the time, but he didn't. But it was, if I got shot, it would have been on camera. But if I was dead, it wouldn't matter, I guess. Huh?
Well, we're glad that didn't happen, or else we wouldn't be able to share this conversation and talk about stories, man. My goodness, yeah. And folks like Matt Levi, you mentioned Bob Basso, um, and oh, I know we're talking about Matt Levi, and then we're talking about this gentleman right over here. Now, folks may recognize him from the movie Karate Kid. He played the heavy in Karate Kid, and often this gentleman would play the bad guy, the heavy in the
Yeah.
movies. His name was Danny Kamikona. Uh, what was your reflection and memories of time with Danny Kamikona there, Scott?
Oh, Danny was a pretty good friend. We would sing after school at the university and go down at night to the Green Turtle restaurant and bar, and sing at night because the UH piano instructor John Saclausa used to play there at nights as well too. So we'd go there and sing. And when Danny found out I was writing a book on karaoke, he introduced me to Pat Morita, who moved to Hawaii for a couple of years while going through a nasty marriage. And Danny, well, anyway, Pat ended up writing the foreword to my karaoke book. And not only that, but came with me to some classes I was teaching Manawahi in Waianae and talked to some troubled kids over there. And they were super impressed that he would take the time to drive 1 hour from town to Waianae and 1 hour back and talk to them. And we made a movie with the kids. And Pat even said he was going to come on the last day to grip. And I said, you don't need to, but he insisted on doing that, and he did. Nice guy.
Yeah. Wow. 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 Let's see. We have more folks that have just jumped in saying how's it? There's Valerie. Hi, Val. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. Aloha to brother Steve over there. I know Val may be at work. She might be checking in with us over here. There's Auntie Jerry. This is our Laia girl now living in Southern California. Auntie Jerry's a wonderful musician and plays all over Southern California. Auntie Jerry Kuhia. Beautiful, beautiful voice. We call her the songbird of Southern California. Old style Hawaiian music. We love it. We love it, love it, love it. And she remembers, Jerry, you do remember George Helm and his beautiful falsetto voice too. I know you do because we were both living at home on the island when George Helm was playing at the time as well. Um, but yeah, Pat Morita, what a sweetheart of a man.
Yeah.
Um, met him met him through a mutual friend, and one of the stories he told me was he was on vacation, and his agent called him and said, "Oh, there's a comic that was supposed to open for this convention that got sick, and instead of flying a comic from LA, since you're there, would you like to do the gig?" And so and so Pat goes, of course, I'll do it. And where is it? Oh, Hilton Hawaiian Village. Go to the dome and ask for this certain lady, blah, 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 boom. So he gets there at a last minute kind stuff and he's rushing in, he's standing there. And it's a couple of minutes before he goes on stage. And so he says to the gal, by the way, um, what is this convention? And she said, oh, it's the Pearl Harbor Survivors convention here at the dome. And he goes, Pearl Harbor Survivors? He goes, yeah. And he goes, oh no. And right about that time, as he's going, I think I'm going to run out the door. They go, and ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pat Morita. He
Mm.
walks out there and there's total silence. You could hear crickets. You could hear, and he's going, oh. So here's what he did. The first thing he said was, hello, everybody. I'm Pat Morita. I'm sorry about Pearl Harbor. And then there was a silence, and then there was laughter, and then there was applause and applause and applause. And he goes, I had the best set of my life. And he goes, one thing that you need to remember, always recognize the elephant in the room. And I go, that
Yeah.
story about Pat Morita. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
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 Um, Auntie Jerry's going, aloha, everybody. Um, to let me see. We also we're talking a little bit about uh, you also have an acting career under your belt, sir. What a varied connection. I got this clip. This clip is from a movie with Liam Neeson, and on the right hand side, the shoulder is Liam Neeson, and there you are, sir. Tell us about this role you played, and how that all happened for you.
When I left, when Fox fired me from Channel 2 in 1980, uh, several doors opened up, including doing some acting, doing some voiceover work, and what have you. And one of the first was uh, doing a voice for Akebono, who was in, the sumo wrestler from Hawaii
Yeah, yeah.
who was in Japan. he had done a commercial for Panasonic in Japanese, and he was speaking Japanese at the time. And they wanted to bring the same commercial to Hawaii in English, but they didn't want to pay him to redo it in in English. So they wanted me to kind of lip sync his Japanese speaking with the English words. So I did that, and I did several other things after that. But this scene was from The Marksman. I played the owner of uh, a convenience store where Liam and this boy that he rescued and was taking to Chicago stopped by in Ohio. And we had several scenes together. And unfortunately, they cut out one of the other scenes. But between scenes, we had a good chance to talk and get to know each other. And found out that he was really, really nice guy. Similarly with Dennis Haysbert, I don't know if you remember him. He's a tall black guy that
Hmm.
used to be on the unit in
Mhm.
West Wing. He did the Allstate commercials for many years, and we shot several scenes last year on a movie that's yet to be released called Lost and Found in Cleveland.
Hmm.
And same thing, between scenes, we talk story a lot. And I discovered that he loved to go to Hawaii, and he particularly liked to go to Lanai, uh, of all things. And I said, wow, that really impressed me because, you think you want to be in Waikiki or Kahuku or what have you, but he liked the quiet of Lanai and liked to go there as well too. So we chatted a lot as well. And I've done a lot of different commercial work as well. Um, that been a lot of fun. Next week, Thursday, I'm doing a karaoke session for the city in their outdoor amphitheater with about they expect about 200 to 300 seniors to attend that, so that should be interesting as well too.
Oh my goodness. So you were there back home in Hawaii when that surge of karaoke came across across the Pacific from Japan to Hawaii, and folks were flocking to karaoke bars, buying up karaoke machines, and uh, you also, for a number of years, taught a karaoke class at UH Manoa.
Yeah,
How, what?
it was amazing. I had a small auditorium with about 100, sometimes more than 100 people packed, because as you know, in the culture in Japan, especially, was if you go there to do business, they take you out to drink afterwards and see how you really behave.
In the
And
karaoke bar.
then when karaoke became popular, they take you to a karaoke bar, ply you with drinks, and make you sing. So then I had these real nervous business people saying, "Hey, I'm going to Japan next week, and I know they're going to take me
Oh.
out to drink and make me sing. I cannot sing. Help me." And so the auditorium was always packed. And so I decided, well, why not write a book? And as you say, because it was popular and it was one of the first books on karaoke at the time. And so I thought I should be able to write pretty well since I had been in the news business. And
Yeah.
I heard about this one woman who was a publisher of big books who was giving a talk at this restaurant in Ward Center, Ward Warehouse, I guess. And so I went to hear her give a talk. I introduced myself afterwards, and I said, "How about lunch tomorrow?" And to my surprise, she said yes. So we went out to lunch the next day, and she said, "Well, what kind of book are you writing?" I said, "I'm writing a book on karaoke." And she laughed and she says, "I only do serious books." Anyway, she consented to edit and help me on the book. We fell in love and we got married.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and we're still married.
Oh
So
my goodness.
and we took the book on a couple of national book tours, made one national TV show, and I made an appearance with Aaron Tippin, the famous country singer at the time.
Huh.
And because this was right after 9/11,
Yeah.
and had a wonderful time and everything else. So, and then in the meantime, a good friend of mine uh, introduced me to the president of, I forget the name of the company, but it was a big company that made uh, video disc players in Japan, Nikodo. And we met. I talked to him about the book. He bought 5,000 copies. I said, well, what kind of, he wanted 5,000 copies. I said, well, how much do you want to pay for it? He says, I'll pay retail. I said, what?
What?
So he paid retail. We were looking for a publisher as I was writing. Didn't need to find a publisher because why give the publisher most of the money when, he was
Mhm.
paying retail? So he bought them all and he came back to Hawaii one time after that. And I was doing a presentation at Winners for Work, which is a nonprofit that works with disadvantaged and handicapped kids, mentally challenged kids. And he came with me and I sang a song and I introduced him and everything else and talked to the kids about, how they can put their mind to things and everything else. And he was very impressed, but I was impressed that he offered to just pay retail without even
Yeah.
thinking of it.
Wow. Very nice. By the way, um, who are these two
That
pretty ladies?
is my beautiful wife and mother-in-law who we
Aw.
came here to take care of 6, 7 years ago, and she passed away 3 years ago at the age of
Aw.
100. She had a really
100?
good life. Yeah, we promised her that she would never be put in a care home because a lot of her friends, she saw a lot of her friends put there and kind of abandoned by their family, by their kids. And we
Yeah.
promised her she'd never have to. So we're living in the house that my wife grew up in since she was 5 years old.
Oh my. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And
Wow.
when we first moved over here, Dottie, my mother-in-law, has a lot of neighbors who were there at the time that they built the house in '57, and they saw me doing the yard, and then when they would come over privately and say, "Who's doing your yard?" and she'd say, "That's my Japanese gardener," and then she'd laugh and say, "No, no, that's my son-in-law. Just kidding."
um, Pat Morita would say that too, wherever he was staying, he was outside doing the yard. He remember saying jokingly that people would come over and ask, if he could come over and do their yard, how much he would charge. Little did they know that it was Pat Morita who later would be Mr. Miyagi and the Karate Kid. Oh my goodness.
Well,
Uh,
what's funny is on our first honeymoon, we went to. I took my wife MJ to Europe, and a couple places there, people would stop and say, "You're Pet Morita." I said, "No, no, 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 don't." My hair was darker then and longer, and they said, "We know, don't lie." And finally, after a while, people would say that over there, and I'd say, "Okay," and I just sign his name to it. You know, thank you.
Side, side, Daniel-san, side, side.
Yeah.
Wash on, wash off. Oh, how funny. Well, we're going to take a little break right now, and we will be back because we're having just a great conversation here with Scott Shirai. Thank you so much for your comments that are coming in as well. Mahalo for that. We'll take a couple moments, and we'll be right back on the Aloha Friday show with our guest today, Mr. Scott Shirai. And we're back on the Aloha Friday show with Scott Shirai. If you just joined us, welcome, welcome, welcome. And we want all of our friends to know that all of our podcasts are archived on our Sandwich Island Social Network YouTube channel. So if you missed the beginning part, or if you have some friends that may have missed it today, a great conversation here with Scott Shirai, then let them know that the podcasts are archived on our social media YouTube channel, Sandwich Island Social Network. All right, so let me see over here. We have Hawaii 50 in the house, 96792 in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to have you on board. Thanks, brother. And let me see. Kay Bennett caught that, Scott. She said, you said on our first honeymoon. So that says that you have many honeymoons afterwards. You've kept the honeymoon spirit there. So
Every day, every day.
every day is a honeymoon. Oh, look at you. How many years have you been married, Scott?
We got married in 98, so
Uh-huh.
26 years.
Yeah. Wow. Very nice. Here's a production. Here's a production. He does all behind the scenes over here. Mr. Nate Jones, who's a Kaneohe boy, and he is the unsung hero behind the Sandwich Island Social Network. Mahalo, Nate, for all you do. He says, "Aloha, Scott. Mahalo for coming on the show once again. Thank you, mahalo. My parents still have the old Pioneer karaoke laser disc and the player at their house in Kaneohe." Oh, I forgot about laser disc, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was big time if you could get a laser
It
disc
was.
at your house.
It was.
Wow. We had the VHS tapes, the tapes in which you had to fast forward or rewind to get to the song you wanted. But the karaoke laser disc, you could choose what song, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm currently using CDGs, and they're ancient too, because now you can do all the karaoke online. So
Yeah. That's so great. Um, Back in, and I wanted to share this with our friends over here because I thought this is very cool. Back in 1994, you wrote a song and did the music, and was helped in putting together, at the time, some major heavy hitters in the music world and in entertainment for the 75th anniversary of the Aloha United Way. How did that all come together for you? How did that start there?
Well, even though I've had, I guess, 7 or 8 career changes, my heart's always been with the nonprofits, including yours as well. And
Uh-huh.
um, I, so I had been a volunteer while working at probably Hawaiian Electric at the time, and heard about the 75th anniversary. So I told them, I said, "Hey, we should do something special. How about a song?" And they said, "What?" And I said, "Well, I can take a shot at, I majored in music. I can take a shot at writing something. And if you like it, great. If you don't, that's okay too." So I wrote a song. And a good friend of mine, Fred Kabashikawa, who's a piano player, played the piano. And I got Don Tyler at Commercial Recording, which was a big recording studio then in Honolulu, to agree to do this Manawahi and record everything. And so we got folks whose names, if you go back then, you might recall, like Leon Siu, Mo Keale, Palani Vaughn, Frank B. Shaner, Haunani Apoliona, Karen Keave Hawaii, let's see, Brother Nolan, Jeff Apaka, and Tony Conjugation, and myself all sang the song, and we had a blast. And it was so heartwarming that all these wonderful friends and musicians would get together for free to do this song in memory of and to celebrate the 75th anniversary of Aloha United Way.
Wow. Wow. You know what? Let's play that. And for folks like Thyra, Auntie Jerry, folks that go back the years, Kay Bennett, you're going to see some faces there, as Scott has just said, of folks who have passed away. But just to hear their voices, to see that they're part of this is very, very, very cool. So here is a video of this song that was written by Scott, and the music with all of these beautiful people, the 75th anniversary of Aloha United Way in 1994. Here we go.
"75 years of caring, Aloha United Way. People helping people each and every day. Yes, 75 years of caring, and that's what it's all about. The Aloha United Way.
Business big and small come together as one. Volunteers young and old, striving hard to get things done. 75 years of caring, now that's what it's all about. The Aloha United Way.
When we are one, we are invincible. Oh, we're conquering homelessness, hunger, and pain.
When we're together as one, ohana,
Our friends and families all gain.
Anahiku kumama lima, makahiki o kamala maana. The Aloha United Way.
when we are one, we are invincible, conquering homelessness, hunger, and pain.
When we're together as one, ohana, our friends and families all gain. 75 years of caring, that's what it's all about. The Aloha
That's some chicken skin there, Scott. just just to see um, Uncle Mo Keave, Keale, Mo Keale, Palani Van, Jeff
Yeah.
Apaka, people like that who are no longer with us. Whew,
Hmm.
whew.
Yeah.
Auntie Jerry just put this. She goes, "I love this song. I would love to sing that song. Ask him if I can sing this song. It's so beautiful." Wow.
Well, of course, of course. I don't
Ah,
know. I don't know what happened to the music after all these years, but
ah,
it's easy to pick it up on the video.
ah. I'll have Auntie Jerry get in touch with you, and you guys can talk story. But wow, and Kay Bennett is going, "Chee-hoo!" She loves that. I know. Some of those great faces. Talking about falsetto, we were talking about George Helm earlier. Frank B. Shaner. Oh my goodness, Frank B. Shaner has this crazy falsetto voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not too many people know that, but oh my goodness. And Hawaii 5 says chicken skin, bruh. It's chicken skin. I know, right? Whoo. Just watching it, I was getting all Waimaka. I was watching, these faces, and the way and Palani Van starts singing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. That is so beautiful. Thanks so much for sharing that, Scott. My goodness. That's a piece of musical history right there with those folks um, together, um, putting that song together.
Mhm.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. To get them all in the same studio, and doing that was really impressed and very, very thankful.
Hmm. Yeah, that was kind of like, in fact, our ohana that is watching this, Nate. Let me see if I can get Nate Jones over here. Nate is saying, amazing that this song turns 30 years old next month. Wow. It reminds
Hmm.
me of We Are the World, which turns 40 years old next year.
Yeah.
So this was a kind of a Hawaiian We Are the World. I mean, this is, our own superstars, our own at that particular time, Scott.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you had your finger right on the pulse at that point in 1994. How exciting! How exciting! Oh my
Well,
goodness.
just doing my part.
Well, I think and I've read some things that you have said and things that you've written of your desire. Excuse me, your desire to leave the footprints in the sand. Then that when you're gone, you've left those positive moments, those positive imprints on people's lives and in people's hearts. That's the greatest blessing that a human can do, to leave uh, those kinds of positive feelings. And you have your life has been behind those kind of things. Everybody that you touch, you leave um,
Well,
little smiley faces there, Scott.
well, I've had a lot of support. My wife is a strong supporter, and I'm trying to finish my second book, which the working title is called "Following My Heart," which is what
Wow.
I've always done. And not that I never made a mistake, but I never look back and say, "Well, what if I had done this, or what if I had done that?" Because I did. And it talks about all the different life choices and decisions I made, and the paths that I took, and everything else.
Hmm. So how far are you along with the book?
Well, like my first one, I thought I was finished, but still revising it. My wife
Yeah.
again is helping me on that.
Ah. Well, please do keep in touch with us. Let us know when that book is released. We'd love to let our ohana on the Simon Joblin Social Network know about it, and give you that support. And definitely, we'd want to pick up a copy and read about them. Uh, and I think we've just touched the tip of the iceberg of so many stories that you have, Scott, over the years. in the past, in the past hour or so. I think we just scratched the surface over here because I know you got so many more stories to tell, that of things that will come to mind probably after we're off the air here today. But interesting stuff there, sir. Interesting stuff.
Oh,
B-
thank you.
yeah, a big mahalo to you for coming on to the show. And let me see. Auntie Jerry says with a big capital, yes. Absolutely, Auntie Jerry. Yeah, I agree. That's a beautiful song. I'll put you in touch with Scott. You guys can talk story about that song as well. Alrighty. Thank you, Scott, for being on the Aloha Friday show today. Next week, friends, Peter Apol, who is a musician. He was with the Hawaiian OHA, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. There we go. He was with the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. He's also involved a lot in community service back in the islands, and he'll be with us next week, Friday, on the Aloha Friday show. So we look forward to having you join us then. In the meantime, everybody, be aloha, make aloha happen. Share as much aloha as you can, and keep things really, really positive out there. And here's Hawaii 5-0 going mahalo, Scott, for the awesome memories. My big hugs. So nice. We have Kay Bennett saying, Scott and mahalo very much for making it happen. And we have everybody that's saying, oh, we definitely love the information that you guys shared over here. That is beautiful. So Scott's going to go back. He's going to hang out for a little while in our green room, and we're going to talk story just a little bit once the credits roll, if you will. So right now we're going to say aloha to everybody, and we'll see you next time on the Aloha Friday show with the Sandwich Islands Social Network.
Aloha.